Hey guys, this is Mr. Grice for Algebra Unit 8.3 Notes. Today we're talking about solving quadratic equations by factoring. Our learning target today is to solve quadratic equations by factoring and using the zero product property. So there are four methods of factoring that we discussed. Let's review them all. Now, the first one is the GCF. This is something that we need to check for every single problem, okay? What we do is when we check for a GCF, the GCF comes out front, and then we're left with the remainder inside of the parentheses. Okay, so let's look at A. What is the GCF? Well, right away, I know that 26 and 13 can both be divided by 13. Now let's look at the x's. How many x's can we take out of both? Well, the most I can take out is 2. And now what about the y's? They both have a y, but the lowest one is a 1. So my GCF is 13x squared y. And my answer, that'll come out first. And then the rest is our remainder. So let's look at 26 divided by 13. 26 divided by 13 is 2. X to the 5th divided by x squared is x cubed. And then the y's cancel out. Now, negative 13 divided by 13 is going to be negative 1. X squared divided by x squared cancel. And then y cubed divided by y is y squared. Okay? Now, the only thing that's different that you can do is you can either write it with the 1 or without the 1. It's whatever makes you happy. Just know that those two things are the exact same thing. Okay? Now, next thing we talked about was the difference of two squares. That's when we have a quadratic binomial and we square root both sides. And when we square root both sides, the square root of a squared is a, the square root of b squared is b, and then one's a plus and one's a minus. Okay, so looking at b, that is a quadratic binomial, and we can take the square of both of those. The square root of 4x squared would be 2x. One's a plus and one's a minus. And then the square root of 121 is 11. So that's where we get 2x plus 11 and 2x minus 11. Okay, the trinomials with a leading coefficient of 1. Now, this is where we want to use the factors of a times c, and they need to add to b. Okay, so we use the factors of a times c and what add up to b. So let's go ahead and do that. First off, is there a GCF? I always forget to ask it. We always have to check, is there a GCF? And in this case, there isn't, so we want the factors of 36, which are 1 and 36, 2 and 18, 3 and 12, 4 and 9, 6 and 6. And out of those ones, which ones multiply to get to a negative 36 and add to get to negative 5? Should have gotten 4 and negative 9. Okay, and can we do the shortcut on this one? Yeah, because my leading coefficient is 1, we can do the shortcut here. So we get x plus 4, x minus 9. And always remember to put a box around your answer. Okay, let's look at the next one. Now, problems like the next one, guess what we do? The exact same thing. Okay, always check to see if there's a GCF. And in this case, there isn't. But then we need to do A times C. 5 times 9 is 45. Write down all the factors of 45, which are 1 and 45, 3 and 15, 5 and 9. So out of those ones, let's just move this over a little bit. Which ones multiply to get to 45 and add to get to 18? Did you guys get 3 and 15? That's what I got. And remember, it's got to work for both of them. So now we're going to split the middle term, where we get 5x squared plus 3x plus 15x plus 9. Draw the line down the middle. And what's the GCF of the gray? Okay, the GCF of the gray is an x. So the GCF comes out front. And then we're left with 5x plus 3. And the GCF of the back is a positive 3. So the positive 3 comes out front. And we're left with 5x plus 3. And I know that we did it right because those two binomials match. So our final answer is 5x plus 3, x plus 3. So all of that should have been a review for you guys. Now, let's scroll down. The zero product property states if you have two numbers, a times b, and they equal 0. Well, if that's true, anything times 0 is 0, right? So that means either a equals 0 or b equals 0. Either one of those, the a or the b, one of those has to be 0 to make that a true statement. Okay? So what we're going to be doing is solve the following quadratic equations by using the zero product property. Only linear factors are set equal to 0. And so what's that pretty much saying is you must have a variable to the first power. Okay, remember linear makes a line, and those were all linear equations. All right? So let's see how this works. I have two things, a times b, and it equals 0. So what we're saying there is either the x minus 4 equals 0 or the x plus 6 equals 0. And I want to know what it is. So I would set x minus 4 equal to 0 and x plus 6 equal to 0. And I want to find out what those answers are. Okay, so let's solve. To get the x by itself in the first one, we need to add 4 to both sides, and we get that x equals 4. And in the gray, to get the x by itself, we have to subtract 6 to both sides, and we get that x equals negative 6. Those are my two answers. And when I write those two answers down, we're going to put them in numerical order. So x equals negative 6 or 4. And those would be the solutions to that problem. That's not too hard, is it? Let's look at number 2. So once again, we have our two binomials right there, and it's key thing, guys, is it's set equal to 0. So we have to solve. we set both of those equations, those binomials, I'm sorry, equal to 0. So 2x minus 3 equals 0, and x minus 4 equals 0. Now, in the blue, we have to do a little more work to solve. We have to add 3 to both sides. We get 2x equals a positive 3. And then divide by 2. We get x equals 3 over 2. Now, in the gray, that should be a little bit easier for you guys. What do you have to do first? Well, you add 4 to both sides. And we get x equals 4. So in numerical order, my two answers are x equals 3 over 2 and 4. Sorry, that's a little hard to read my 3 over 2. And there you go. You should start seeing a pattern with some of these where, like the ones in the gray for number 2 and the blue and the gray in the first one, those are pretty easy to solve. But the 2x minus 3 right here, it takes a little bit more work. Let's move on to 3. Okay? We have our two equations, so I'm going to set both of them equal to 0. So in the blue, we only write the variable x equals 0. Well, hey, I'm done. It's solved. And now we have the 4x minus 9 equal to 0. So that's going to be a little bit more work. We have to add the 9 to both sides. And we get 4x equals 9. And then we divide them both by 4. So we get x equals 9 over 4. So our two answers in numerical order are 0 and 9 over 4. Okay, number 4. We only set the variables equal to 0. So our x plus 5 and the 5x minus 1. So x plus 5 equal to 0 and the 5x minus 1 equal to 0. Do you guys know what the answer is for the blue? Remember, all you do is subtract, so you should get that x equals negative 5. That one in the blue you should be able to do in just a second or two, okay? Now in the gray, once again, we have a little bit more work. We have to add 1 to both sides, and we get 5x equals 1. And then get the x by itself, we have to divide by 5, and we get that x equals 1/5. So in numerical order, our answers are x equals negative 5 and a positive 1/5. Okay, and number 10. Why don't you, or number 10, number 5. Why don't you guys try number 5 and see if you can do that one all on your own? Pause the video and good luck. Okay, just remember that we only set the variable part equal to 0, okay? So the x plus 7, when x plus 7 equals 0, you should get negative 7. Okay, and last one, number 6, once again, try that one on your own. We have two parts that are equal to 0. So go ahead and see if you can get the answers to both of those. Good luck. Okay, and then for number 6, you should be getting that x equals 0 and x equals negative 1/6. Okay. Well, guys, I'm going to stop this first video for the notes right here, just because the back's going to take us a little bit longer. So this is the end of the video 1 for Algebra Unit 8.3 notes. Thanks for watching.